Okay, now we are into the top 5. So for these, I'm just gonna say, if you don't like dark things, don't read them. Just don't, because they're all super gory or graphic. So number 5 on this list is Twittering Birds Never Fly by Yoneda Ko. So this is manga from Japan, and it's my favorite series of all time. One of them, for sure, if not my favorite. So I have the first 5 volumes. I'm just gonna hold up number 1 for the sake of like my hands. But this is about Yashiro and Domeki. Yashiro is a young, extremely handsome underling in the Yakuza. Yet he manages his like burrows and responsibilities very well. He's very good at playing the games, but he doesn't really have interest in power. And one thing that people know about him is that he is like what they call like super slutty. He loves to bottom for like other Yakuza guys. And he never sleeps with anyone that is his underling. And enter Domeki, who is a disgraced ex-cop who is hired as Yashiro's bodyguard. Now, one of the things is that Yashiro is attracted to Domeki, but he hires him in spite of this because Domeki is impotent. He cannot get it up for traumatic reasons in his past. So on the surface, what you have is a Yakuza story as we're following Yashiro with Domeki as his bodyguard. And you also see like a lot of sex happening between Yashiro and like other members of the Yakuza. But underneath that outer layer is like this really, really wonderful examination of their relationship. When you take someone who is hypersexual because of reasons, which I'm not going to say, and highly violent, and you take it away because Domeki refuses to be violent towards him, and there's no sexual component between them. So it's really like the evolution of them and like their boss and underling relationship. And this is just absolutely freaking excellent. Like, I cannot recommend it highly enough, as long as the triggers aren't gonna like overwhelm you. And yeah, don't be shocked. This is like super graphic. It should be rated like NC-17 or whatever it is. But yeah, I absolutely highly recommend this series, and it's so wonderful. Number 4, I want to talk about The Immemorial Year Duet by TJ Klune. So if you only know TJ Klune because he writes like soft, sweet, tender things, I would like to introduce you to this favorite series of his. My favorite, I should say. This is a really dark queer dystopian. So the first one is Withered and Sear, and the second one is Crisped and Sear. So we are following 100 years after like the nuclear fallout event where the whole world suffered like this wave of fire. So there is a wasteland that America used to be, and there's a broken man named Cavallo who resides in like the crumbling ruins of a correctional institution, and his only friends are like the sentient robot that controls the institution and his trusty dog, who's named Bad Dog, although he's a very good boy. So they are kind of like his unit, and he doesn't like to go near towns because he does not get on well with other people. However, one day he shoots a mutated deer, and he goes to get it from the other side of the highway in a place called the Deadlands. So the Deadlands are like a no man's land because the dead rabbits live there and they are cannibals. So he goes to get the deer, and when he does, he finds someone that won't let him leave alone. So this is so dark. What can I say? We opened with nuclear fallout, mutation, and cannibals, and that's just like where it begins. But this is so good. I really, really love it. And it's just a duology. So like, it's only 2 books, so you should definitely read it. But TJ Klune's writing style here is absolutely preserved. His character work is excellent. And it's just, I think, the grittiest thing he's ever written, and I really wish he would write more in like the gritty dystopian genre. Fingers crossed for the future. All right, we're moving on to number 3. Number 3 is the Mindfuck series by S.T. Abby. So do not be fooled by the raunchy covers, because the majority of this series is about really bloody revenge by a female killer, and I'm so here for it. So Lana is the woman who, in her childhood, the town that she was raised in did horrible, horrible things to people that she loved. So she has been planning for a decade with a silent partner the worst ways to get back at everyone and make them pay, you know, their pound of flesh, sometimes literally. So I was so here for that element. And then you add in that there is an FBI agent who is trying to figure out who the serial killer is that's moving up and down like the coast, trying to catch them. And he's at a cafe when he runs into this lovely young woman named Lana, and they start a romance. But she doesn't know his case, and he doesn't know, obviously, who she is. So, this is just gory, bloody revenge. And I loved it so, so, so much. I loved it so much, so definitely read this if that sounds interesting to you. But yeah, it's like soaked in blood. So much blood. All right. Next up is one of my favorite recent series. This is number 2, Monstrous series by Lily Mayne. So this shit slaps hard. I love this so much. So again, shocker, we're in a dystopian America, but this time a rift opened between our world and like a monster world, and monsters started pouring through, and the military overreacted, like blew up the whole middle of America. So the only safe places are cities on the coast, which have been barricaded, or like kind of shanty towns that people have built, and they are like raiders, or like they live together, kind of like finding sustenance and supplies out in the wastelands, but not part of the city. So usually every book is a pairing between a monster that has come through the rift and like a human. So in this world, the monsters are all completely different. Some are very human-like, and some are like amorphous blobs of teeth and eyes. So it really depends. But the first book is following Danny, who is the worst soldier that you've ever met. He joined the military because he didn't want to starve to death, which is reasonable. But when they're ordered to try to kill this one monster who's known as the Soul Eater, the Soul Eater immediately like kills everyone that's trying to kill him. And Danny's like, okay, I don't really want to die, so I'm just not gonna kill him. So the Soul Eater pauses when Danny doesn't try to kill him, and that lets him be captured. But then afterwards, the Soul Eater says he will only be interrogated by Danny. So that is how they meet. And things go from there. So I will say I have read religiously, like as soon as they come out, every book in this series. I love this series so, so much. I must say my absolute favorite one so far was number 3, The Reich. I love that one so much. But I have loved them all truly. They've all been 4.5, I think, to 5 stars. So, the next one called Seraph is coming out, and I cannot wait. I am so, so excited. So we are to number 1, which is Sick Fucks by Tilly Cole. This is a Alice in Wonderland retelling, but like just so fucked up in every way possible. So we are following Ellis and Heathen, who met as children. So Ellis was like the young lady of the manor, and Heathen was the groundskeeper's son. And from a young age, Heathen was kind of antisocial and a bit like darker, like the kind of kid who doesn't really like to play with others, but he has a weird, like, kind of fascination with Ellis because she alone is kind to him. And Ellis's parents are horrible people, and basically in the beginning there are some very traumatic things that happen to Ellis and Heathen involving like child abuse, sexual assault, and pedophilia. So that's where we're starting out. And then we fast forward, and Heathen has broken out of jail in order to find Ellis again. But when he does find her, he finds that she is so inside her own mind to have dealt with the trauma that the only way he can slowly coax her out again is by pretending to be in Wonderland with her. So he becomes Rabbit and she Alice. And they are going to journey through Wonderland to kill all of the people in the story who are symbolic of all the people who have hurt her in the past. So yeah, this is like super bloody, like it's fucked up in all the ways. Like we start out with really heavy stuff and then it's just blood, gore, revenge, death, assassination, murder, and also like triggering mental health stuff as well. So take that and do with that what you will. But the relationship between Ellis and Heathen is actually so soft. So it's so like heartbreaking because Heathen is trying for so long to help her in any way he knows how. And yeah, she just needs to do it her own way. So that's a very fucked up way. So that is the end of my darkest romances I've ever read and liked. Please let me know dark romances you've read and liked down below. And let me know if you're planning to pick up any of these because yeah, I love them, but I do also have dark romance as one of my favorite genres. So without further ado, I will talk to you in another video soon. Lots of love. Bye!